In 2021, Fidelity studied 5.2 million investment accounts over 10 years. What they found: women are better investors than men, not slightly, by 0.4% per year, consistently, for a decade. And yet, the median retirement savings for an American woman right now is $56,000. For men, it's $92,000. We live 5 years longer and retire with less. Better investors, less retirement security. Today, 8 quiet habits that explain the women who've closed that gap. The one at the end is what makes all the others actually stick. I'm saving it for last. Let's go. Habit 1. They invest. They don't just save. I want you to meet Sarah. She's 39, lives in Chicago, earns $87,000 a year, and has been putting money aside since she was 32. Never missed a bill, has an emergency fund, financially responsible by every measure. She also has $41,000 in retirement savings. Fidelity says a 39-year-old at her income should have roughly $261,000. Sarah is $220,000 behind, not because she was irresponsible, but because the money that should have been invested has been sitting in a savings account, earning 0.5% while inflation ran at 3 to 4%. She's been losing money every year while thinking she was saving it. This is the most common financial mistake I see, not overspending. Confusing saving with investing, they are not the same thing. Saving is protection. Investing is growth. You need both in separate buckets. If you put $500 a month into a savings account at 0.5% for 25 years, you end up with $158,000. Put that same $500 into a diversified investment account at a historical average of 7%, you end up with $405,000. Same money, same discipline, $247,000 difference. The women who have this figured out are very deliberate about keeping these buckets separate. The savings account is not an investment. The investment account is not a safety net. They do different jobs. Mixing them up is how you end up with $41,000 at 39 on an $87,000 salary after 7 years of being financially responsible. Sarah moved $30,000 into a Roth IRA the week she understood this distinction. She's still behind, but she stopped going backwards. That matters more than the starting point. Habit 2. They automate the decision before they can talk themselves out of it. The women who have retirement sorted don't rely on motivation. They don't wake up every month feeling disciplined and ready to transfer money. They remove that decision from their lives entirely. The money leaves their account automatically, same day as their paycheck, fixed amount every time, before they've had a chance to talk themselves out of it. Wharton's Pension Research Council confirmed in 2024 that automation reliably increases both participation and contribution amounts across every income level. The people who automate save more than the people who intend to save. Every time. Start with whatever is realistic, even $150 a month. Then increase by 1% of your income every 6 months. Most people never notice the difference in monthly spending. They notice an enormous difference 5 years later. Sarah set up a $400 automatic transfer the same week she opened her Roth IRA. She said it felt terrifying. 3 months later, she'd stopped thinking about it. The money was gone before she could second guess it. The account was growing, both things happening without a monthly decision. That's the entire point. Habit 3. They never leave free money on the table. If your employer offers a 401k match and you're not contributing enough to get all of it, you are not leaving money on the table. You're actively turning it down. It was offered to you. You said no. The most common formula in the US, your employer matches 50 cents for every dollar you contribute, up to 6% of your salary. On a $70,000 income, that's $2,100 in free money, a guaranteed 50% return before the market does a single thing. I don't know of another investment that guarantees a 50% return, but a lot of women contribute 3% or 4% and walk away from the rest. If you've ever opened your retirement account, seen the number, and immediately closed the app, this one is for you. The single fastest thing you can do right now is find out your employer's match formula and confirm you're capturing every dollar of it. That one action on a $70,000 salary could add $2,100 every year to your retirement before your investments do anything. It takes one lunch break. Call HR, pull up your benefits portal, look up the plan document. However you get there, find the number, match your contribution to it, and don't leave that money on the table for another month. If you are loving this video, hit the hype button on your mobile screen right now. Let's continue. Habit 4. They know their number, and they check it once a year. If I asked you right now whether your retirement savings are on track, not roughly, not vaguely, but actually on track, could you answer that? Most people can't. They have a sense of the balance, enough to feel vaguely anxious, but no real framework for whether the number is fine or behind or seriously behind, and you can't solve a problem you haven't defined. Here's the framework I use. Fidelity's age-based benchmarks. By 40, have 3 times your annual salary saved. By 50, 6 times. By 60, 8 times. By 65, 67, 10 times. That's it. If you earn $80,000 and you're 42, your target is $240,000. If you have $110,000, your gap is $130,000. That is a specific problem, which is a fundamentally different thing to solve than I think I should probably save more. The second part of this habit, check once a year, same month, every year, balance against the benchmark, adjust your contribution if needed, close the app, not weekly, not every time the market moves, once. And I'll tell you in the next habit exactly why checking less often actually helps your returns, because the data on this is not what most people expect. The goal isn't to obsess over the number. It's to have a clear enough picture that you can make one informed decision a year and then let the accounts do their job without constant interference. That's what the women who sleep well about retirement actually do. Habit 5, they ignore the noise and their returns prove it. Let me tell you exactly why women outperformed men in that Fidelity study, because it wasn't better stock picks. It wasn't smarter market timing. It was that women traded less. Full stop. Men in that study were 6 times more likely than women to make major allocation shifts, moving from 100% stocks to 100% bonds in one move. More likely to sell when the market dropped, more likely to pile in after a run-up, more likely to react to whatever was on their phone on a Tuesday afternoon. Women, on average, invested and left it alone, and that apparent inaction compounded into measurably better returns over 10 years. Here's what I find genuinely fascinating. Only 1 in 3 women in that same study said they felt confident making investment decisions. 1 in 3. 2/3 of women are investing while quietly unsure of themselves, and their portfolios are still outperforming. The confidence gap is real. The performance gap goes the other direction entirely. The women who never stress about retirement have stopped treating financial news as something they need to act on. The market dropped 3%. They saw the notification, put their phone face down, and went back to their day. They built a simple, diversified, low-cost portfolio and decided in advance that headlines are not a reason to touch it. The less you do, the better your investments tend to perform. Fidelity ran the numbers across 10 years and 5 million accounts. The data is clear. Habit 6, they have a written financial plan. Most people don't. In 2024, Schwab's Modern Wealth Survey asked a simple question. Do you have a written financial plan? 36% said yes, which means 64% of American adults are navigating their entire financial lives, their savings, their investing, their retirement, without a written plan. They're guessing with their future. I want to be clear about what a written plan actually is, because I think people hear that phrase and picture something intimidating. It's not a 40-page document. It's not something you need a financial advisor to produce. It's a note on paper or your phone that answers 4 questions. What do I want retirement to look like and when? What will I need to live on each month in today's dollars? What is my current savings trajectory telling me I'll actually have? And what's the gap? And how do I close it? When you write those answers down, something shifts. Every financial decision you make after that has a context. Should I pull money from my 401k to cover this expense? Look at the plan. Plan says no. Should I increase my contribution this year? The plan says yes, by this specific amount. The decision was already made by a calmer version of you. Today's version just has to follow it. Sarah made her written plan on a Sunday afternoon. 1 page, 4 questions, an hour and a half. She found out she needed $1,850 a month to hit her retirement target by 62. She was saving $400. That gap was terrifying to look at. And also, finally, it was a real number, a specific problem she could actually solve, instead of a vague dread she'd been carrying for years. She mapped out a 5-year roadmap. $400 now, $700 by year 2, $1,200 by year 4, $1,850 by year 5 as her income grows. She has that plan on her phone. She looks at it on her birthday every year. 64% of people are guessing. I don't want that to be you. Habit 7, they protect everything they've built with a buffer. I know what you might be thinking. An emergency fund? That's not a quiet money habit of women who have retirement figured out. That's just basic personal finance. You'd be right that it's basic. You'd be wrong that most people actually have one. Transamerica's 2024 survey found that 22% of women have pulled money from their retirement accounts to cover an emergency expense. Nearly 1 in 4. And I want you to understand what that actually costs, because I think the number is a lot bigger than people realize. When you withdraw from a 401k before age 59 and a half, you pay income tax on the full amount, plus a 10% early withdrawal penalty. On a $10,000 emergency, you lose roughly $3,200 immediately. But here's the part that really hurts. That $10,000 at age 42, left alone at 7% growth, would be worth approximately $38,000 by the time you're 67. So you paid $3,200 in taxes and penalties to cost your future self $38,000 in wealth. For a $10,000 emergency, that is the true price of not having a buffer. The women I've seen genuinely sleep well about retirement have 3 to 6 months of living expenses in a high-yield savings account that they treat as untouchable, not invested, not tied up, just there. Boring, earning a little interest, doing its actual job, making sure a car repair or a job transition never gets to derail what's happening in their investment accounts. this. Your emergency fund isn't separate from your retirement strategy. It is your retirement strategy's immune system. Without it, every unexpected expense is a threat to the whole plan. Start where you are. If you have nothing right now, your goal is 1 month, then 2, then 3. Build it slowly in a high-yield savings account that's separate from your regular checking, close enough to reach an emergency, far enough that you're not looking at it every day. The point is that when something goes wrong, and something always goes wrong, you don't have to touch your retirement accounts. That protection is worth more than any single investment decision you'll ever make. 7 habits, all real, all specific, all things you can actually do. But I've talked to enough women about money to know that information alone doesn't always move the needle. It always comes back to the same thing. Habit 8. Habit 8. They started before they felt ready. Every woman I've seen actually figure out her retirement, every woman who checks her account once a year without her stomach dropping, who has her plan on her phone, who slept through the last market dip, started before she felt financially confident enough to start. Not one of them woke up one day feeling ready. Not one of them had the full picture before she began. They opened the account while they were still confused about index funds. They set up the automatic transfer before they fully understood compound interest. They wrote the one-page plan before they felt qualified to write a plan. Because here's the thing, I wish someone had told me earlier. Financial confidence doesn't come before the action. It comes after it. You don't feel ready and then start. You start and then slowly you feel ready. The readiness is a byproduct of doing the thing, not a prerequisite for it. Transamerica found in 2024 that only 18% of women workers are very confident they'll be able to retire comfortably. Only 18%, which means if you're waiting to feel confident before you start, you'll be in the majority, and you will wait a very long time. The compound interest clock does not wait with you. Sarah is 39, she's still behind, she'll tell you that herself, but she opened the Roth IRA, set up the automatic transfer, built her emergency fund to 4 months of expenses, and wrote her plan. All in the same month, she found out she was $220,000 behind. She was not confident when she started. She was scared. She did it scared. 1 year later, she has $18,000 more in retirement savings than she did. She told me the S&P dropped 2.1% on a Tuesday, and she didn't find out until Thursday at lunch. Her response, okay. And then she ordered her food. That is what this looks like. Not perfect, not certain, not starting from a place of confidence, just started. So here's where we are. Invest, don't just save. Automate the decision before you can talk yourself out of it. Capture every dollar of your employer match. Know your number and check it once a year. Ignore the noise. The data says your portfolio will thank you. Write the plan, protect it with a buffer, and start before you feel ready. Because that day is not some future version of you who has it all figured out. That day is today. If this is helping you see money differently, subscribe. It means more than you'd think, and it helps me reach more women who need to hear this. We can have Lisa here doing this request. If today was the day you decided to open the account, write the plan, or set up the transfer, I'd genuinely love to know about it in the comments. I read them. I'll see you in the next one.